My name is Stella Bogonko, the CEO of Jacob's Ladder Africa, and this is Green Jobs Africa. The Africa Climate Summit has 4 main objectives. And the first one is to make sure that there's an African Leaders Nairobi Declaration, which will be a summary of the position on various topics. And if you haven't caught that, there is a full episode that we've covered on that particular objective. The second one is on a new global finance deal, which is basically summarizing how do we finance the new demand around going green as a planet. And there is, again, a full episode covering that particular objective. The third one is on announceables. What are some of the key outcomes or key announcements that are going to be made? What are some of the investments that are coming onto the continent? And this is going to range from private sector to government to bilateral, partnerships and all that. And again, there is a full episode on that. But in this particular episode, we cover the last and perhaps one of the most important objectives in my view, because it's great to have a declaration. It might as well just be a pronouncement. It's great to agree on demand or insist on a new global finance deal, but that could be seen as just suggestions. And it's great to have announcements in terms of the partnerships and what's being done in terms of investments moving forward, but that could remain as just that. If we don't have a roadmap and a clear one around how to implement the outcomes or the other 3 objectives, it could be just a nice event, probably well attended, exciting, great organization, but not leading anywhere. And that's why it's important for us to have a clear roadmap of what the implementation looks like. And from the preliminary conversations, there is intention and a very deliberate effort coming all the way from the African heads of state, agreeing to say, this is what we're going to champion at G20, at UNGA. In whichever meetings we're going to go into, we're going with one blueprint, one common position on the various issues that have been highlighted out of the summit. And that's one of the things that I would encourage young and old businessmen, governments, whoever you are, make sure that you get a hold of the roadmap and then figure out how you're going to play a part in making sure that this convergence, like we said in a previous session, one of the greatest moments in history for us as Africans, finally charting the way for ourselves and determining at the global stage what our position is on one of the most important issues of our times, which is climate. We need to be able to know and participate, but beyond that, we need to be able to own it enough to implement it for ourselves and put the pressure until there is output, because we've had conversations before, we've had meetings, and there are many more that are coming. But how do we make sure that this one is different? That's why having a roadmap that has clear milestones and clear deliverables is important. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Those have been the 4 objectives. Like I said, if you haven't caught them, we've covered full episodes on each and every one of the objectives, and this was the 4th one. I hope that leaves you a little bit more enlightened and encouraged to know that finally we are getting a leadership at the continental level that is charting the way forward, not sitting back to wait for someone else to set their agenda, but determining what our agenda is at the global stage. And so, like we said, if you can find a way of participating, whether in person or virtually, please do join the summit, the Africa Climate Summit, on the 4th to the 6th of September that's happening in Nairobi, Kenya. If you have any questions or comments, contributions, viewpoints on the 4 objectives, or perhaps ideas of how we can, as a continent, make sure that this thing does not just become a conversation, but becomes tangible and actionable, especially at the grassroots, please do share your views on the comment section below. My name is Stella Bogonko, CEO of Jacob's Ladder Africa, and this is Green Jobs Africa.